This is TWiT.
Google Stadia, great article by Trevor Rubin in Variety, is a net neutrality nightmare. And it points out the real Achilles heel of Stadia, which is, yes, Google has lots of server capacity. They're going to put high-end graphics processors, especially designed AMD GPUs in every instance. So you'll have what they said that you'll have 10 teraflops. Was it teraflops or teraflops of processing performance compared to the 3 or 4 in a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One S, and they'll even be able to combine instances if you really need it. It'll be great for cooperative play because you and your friend can be playing sitting on the couch together, and you'll each have your own instance, even though they show up as one on the screen, et cetera, all sorts of really great things. Sounds wonderful, except that they're completely at the mercy of the last mile, your internet service provider. And the Variety article raises a really interesting point. Now that they don't have to pay lip service to net neutrality, watch and see. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Comcast and Verizon and AT&T, if I don't get something in the mail from my ISP, Comcast, in a few months saying, you know, for best performance, Google Stadia requires our special high latency connection. I mean, low latency connection for a mere $5 a month.
Well, and it would be a perfect pitch because they know that gamers are obsessed about that.
Yes, I'll pay it.
If I'm reading websites, I don't actually care if it loads in 11 seconds or 2.7 seconds, but your game is going to be huge, you know, unplayable.
Huge.
Well, I don't disagree, but I question how many true quote unquote gamers are even going to do this because
are going to use it.
Well, it needs some games. That would be a place to start.
Well, yeah, it needs games, but people have already invested. I mean, true gamers have invested.
That's a good point.
Thousands of dollars on
that's
their
a
own
good point.
hardware.
They already have an Xbox or PlayStation or a gaming,
and they're playing it online, and they don't care as much.
Yeah.
This is, to me, this is the bigger opportunity for people who haven't spent, you know, $2,000 on the latest GTX video card and everything else. And that opens up a tremendous potential opportunity for these people. Yeah, I could see the ISPs jumping in here, but I was actually happy about Stadia personally. I'm like, I can use my Pixel Slate for something else now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you're right. There's probably a fairly big chunk of potential gamers, kind of casual gamers, you know, who they're never going to build their own rig. They're never going to get the latest, you know, console, but they might be willing to use Stadia.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting access to high-end hardware on the cheap.
And certainly it's the case that there are existing streaming gaming solutions. I play GeForce Now on my Shield, my NVIDIA Shield, and that plays I haven't had any problems with latency. Have you?
No, it's been great. I mean, I don't know what your ISP or who it is or what your
I'm on a pretty fast Comcast connection, but cable.
On a gigabit Fios connection. So.
Well, shut up.
That's enough out of you.
I still wouldn't be surprised, even though you and I clearly don't need it, if we didn't get emails from Verizon and Comcast respectively saying, you really have to get our special new gaming connection to play
So they're
Stadia.
going to start the letter, hey, those are some nice games you got there. It'd be a shame if something was to happen to them.
Yeah. I think the challenge for Google is going to be they have no presence in gaming at all. Microsoft was very quick after the Google announcement. I think a lot of us, including me, watching this saying this is a shot across the bow of Microsoft and Sony, because both are planning similar services. Microsoft was very quick to respond last week saying, wait till we get to E3. We'll have some announcements for you. They have a streaming service they're planning to launch next year. And the advantage Microsoft has is that they have a lot of games. They have their own Microsoft Studio games, which are very popular, and they have relationships with all the big gaming companies. They already offer many of these games on the Xbox Gold. What is it? The Xbox Plus service, where you can subscribe, but you still download them. They're not streaming. And Sony is in the same boat. Nintendo's in the same boat. These companies already have relationships. Google's starting from scratch. Going to be very challenging.
It's definitely an uphill battle. It's we'll have to see. It all comes down to content. Content is king.
Yep.
The other one that I wouldn't discount is Amazon and Twitch, because what we didn't talk about, maybe you probably last week, was the YouTube factor here with Stadia. I think is huge, and Amazon could pull the same thing with Twitch.
Yeah.
Is that a case of Google doing so? Clearly, some even said this is to save YouTube. I think that's an overstatement. But as they pointed out during the event, YouTube sells or offers a lot of gaming downloads. Billions of people watch YouTube gaming videos, not the live streaming so much, but the gaming videos to learn how to play a game and so forth. Obviously, they see a threat from Twitch, Amazon's live streaming gaming service. They did offer some unique features in YouTube. You mentioned one of them, the ability to be watching a gameplay and then pick up right where that gameplay is right now by pushing a button, and you're streaming it on Stadia. There's also the ability to package a current position in a game and offer that. So somebody like Ninja could say, all right, this is a great chance for you to try Fortnite, except Fortnite won't be on this, but this is a great chance for you to try Fortnite. Here's a download you could pick up right where I've left off. That's cool. The ability to stream directly to YouTube from Stadia. That's cool. Although we'll see. I mean, they didn't say anything about an inset of the gamer or a chat room or any of the features that makes Twitch really powerful for those guys who are streaming, gals and guys who are streaming. But on the other hand, that's Google shoring up its own business as opposed to giving gamers what they want, right? It's sometimes, a lot of times companies do this, and I always wonder when especially in Silicon Valley, when companies are solving their business problem ahead of solving their consumers' problems.
See, you're going back to the gamers. They're not solving today's gamers' problem. They are solving the non-gamers' problem.
But are the non-gamers asking for those features, or are those features designed for YouTube to succeed against Twitch? You see what I'm saying?
I do. I see what you're saying, but I think there's just, I mean, how many people in the U.S. have a custom-built gaming rig or spent?
No, I agree. I understand. In fact, I said that during the Stadia launch. This is not for current mainstream gamers. Right. But those features sound like they're trying to woo Ninja away from Twitch, right? If you're going to save YouTube with this, you got to woo the Twitch guys.
Well, they might as well try. Like if they can get a sort of broad mass of kind of either non-gamers or casual gamers, and they can kind of chip away at Amazon and Twitch, then why not?
It's a win all around. And see this,
they've got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an advantage of starting at zero. Yeah.
The game developers themselves, I mean, at first I was like, ooh, they're not going to want to be on this thing because they got to port their games over to Linux because the Stadia hardware is Linux, yada, yada. But then I'm like, wait, unless it's an exclusive thing, they can still have their millions and millions of sales to regular true PC gamers and add on to that through, the bigger audience of non-gamers that say, hey, I can play these awesome games, and not buy $2,000 worth of hardware.
Well, and here's the funny thing, because that's exactly what Apple announced on Monday, is our Apple Arcade, which again, like Stadia, won't be available till the fall. We don't know how much it's going to cost. There are a lot of big question marks. And they don't have any games for it. So they're actually saying to developers, we want you to develop a game exclusively for Apple Arcade. You can't, not only can you not sell it on Android, you can't even sell it on Apple. People have to play it through Arcade with their one price subscription. And developers now go to work. and I think that's a tough pitch, especially if you're a developer that is making good money on the App Store. But look how much Epic makes on Fortnite in-game purchases, which would not be eligible for Apple Arcade. They make billions.
So what are the distribution? What's the distribution deal for a game developer in Apple Arcade? Well, I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, here's Oprah said it on stage when she was standing there. 1 billion pockets, y'all.
1 billion pockets.
It's in 1 billion pockets. That's the distribution offer. I don't know how many people subscribe to Apple Arcade. Certainly not the full billion, but the fact that you're on 1 billion devices and available on 1 billion devices is probably fairly compelling.
And I think also Apple's...
Wait, you can't say that. And then
Oprah said it. I didn't say it. Oprah said it.
You can't agree with Oprah because Stadia, for example, can run probably on 2 billion devices.
That's true. It can run on all of those, plus run on every iPhone and every Android phone and every Chromebook, and even on Chromcasts.
Yeah, and TVs. And exactly.
We don't know if Stadia is exclusive. We know Apple's exclusive. Stadia may not be exclusive. In fact, I don't think they need to make it exclusive. The pitch of Stadia is you could play this game on this cheap device. This $35 or $60.
Or this $1,000 Pixel Slate, you fool.
Yeah. I think the sweet spot for this, I don't know what Google's sweet spot, but from the player's sweet spot is a Chromecast Ultra, $75, and then you really want the best experience, you buy the Wi-Fi Google controller, which reduces latency because it's correct, just like the Chromecast, connecting directly. That's a pretty sweet bundle. So I don't know what you've spent there because they didn't announce a price for that, but let's say $200, and then whatever the monthly fee, which they also didn't announce. So let's say $20. That might be pretty cool. But then it sounds like you're a gamer, and maybe if you are, you already had a Xbox.
But maybe, I mean, there's lots of kids. You're not going to let your kid. You're not going to. No, lots of people are going to do it, but not everyone's going to give their kid an Xbox One or a Plus or whatever. Or
so the kids will demand these. Daddy, I want a Chromecast Ultra.
And then you can grow future gamers, right?
Yeah.
So if you can get them young, maybe they'll get used to it. Maybe they'll even like it. And as it gets better and you add more features, more games.